Welcome to Hero Villains. Who do you think would win when Ghost Rider vs. Thanos, the spirit of vengeance facing the Conqueror of the universe? Ghost Rider is the embodiment of the spirit of vengeance, most commonly associated with Johnny Blaze, a stunt motorcyclist bound by a hellish curse. When he transforms, he takes on a flaming skeletal form wielding supernatural strength, near indestructible regeneration, and hellfire that burns both flesh and soul. Ghost Rider's most terrifying weapon is the Penance Stare, a gaze that forces his opponent to experience the full weight of every sin and every pain they have ever inflicted, a power that cannot be measured by raw physical strength alone. Thanos, the Mad Titan, is one of the most powerful entities in the Marvel Universe. He possesses physical strength far beyond that of most beings, a genius-level intellect, and an iron will. Even without the Infinity Gauntlet, Thanos can overwhelm top-tier superheroes through sheer power, strategy, and cold, ruthless efficiency. When equipped with cosmic artifacts, his power can rise to godlike levels. Before we dive deeper into the analysis, please remember to subscribe and turn on notifications by clicking the bell icon. Thank you all very much. Johnny Blaze grew up surrounded by the roar of engines and the smell of gasoline from dangerous stunt performances. He was raised in a family of stunt riders, where his father, Barton Blaze, served as both the family pillar and a strict mentor after his mother Naomi left without a word. Tragedy struck when Barton was killed in a fatal stunt, leaving Johnny lost in a void that could never be filled. He was later adopted by Crash and Mona Simpson, continuing to live in a world of speed and danger, where Johnny gradually developed deep feelings for Roxanne, his adoptive sister, who became his rare source of emotional support. When Crash was diagnosed with cancer and faced imminent death, Johnny desperately turned to magic with the faint hope of saving his adoptive father. He believed he was calling upon the devil from the Bible, but the one who answered was Mephisto, the cunning lord of hell. Without hesitation, Johnny traded his soul for Crash's life, setting himself on a path of no return. From that moment on, he became Ghost Rider, the rider bearing the spirit of vengeance, mounted on a flaming motorcycle that tore through the night. Possessed by the demon Zarathos, Johnny carried an unending thirst for punishment. Hellfire and the Penance Stare turned him into a nightmare for the guilty, burning away their darkened souls at the root. Johnny Blaze accepted a life alongside the shadows, transforming his own pain into a sentence passed upon evil, and Ghost Rider became the manifestation of a terrifying power far beyond ordinary limits. When Johnny Blaze passed the spirit of vengeance on to Robbie Reyes, that moment opened a doorway into a living hell. In human form, Reyes could still tap into supernatural power, enough to sense the dark flames slumbering within. But when the spirit took control, that power erupted violently like an uncontrollable storm. Ghost Rider once escaped effortlessly from a reinforced shield containment cell, something very few entities in the universe could accomplish. His reflexes and speed reached absurd levels, making the world around him seem to slow down whenever he moved. Hellfire was not only used to burn, but could also open blazing portals, warping space itself according to his will. He could channel infernal flames into the objects he wielded, turning his signature chain into a brutally efficient instrument of punishment. However, Ghost Rider does not exist independently. The Phantom Rider requires a human host to anchor his essence. The host serves as the final lock, preventing the Fury from spilling completely out of control. If that boundary collapses, the spirit of vengeance will plunge into a spiral of blind retribution, ready to incinerate nearly any being that possesses a soul. Ghost Rider is a judge emerging from the darkness, using mystical powers to protect the innocent and punish tainted souls. His most terrifying ability is the Penance Stare, a supreme technique passed down from Danny Ketch. When that flaming gaze locks onto an opponent, Ghost Rider peers into the depths of the guilty soul and forces them to relive every suffering they have ever inflicted. Every tear becomes endless torment, driving the judged into a permanent coma where there is no escape. Ghost Rider wields a mystical metal chain forged in hellfire. This weapon can both crush enemies and bind them in the chains of judgment. Hellfire also allows Johnny Blaze to channel power into any motorcycle, even summoning a blazing vehicle from nothingness, roaring through the night like a living sentence passed upon the wicked. The power of Ghost Rider is nourished by spirits of vengeance created by God himself, transforming him into the embodiment of an ancient and sacred will of punishment. His authority is primarily centered on Earth, enough to make crime itself tremble, but not yet extending to a true cosmic scale. Compared to entities such as Silver Surfer, who can threaten entire planets, Ghost Rider is like a flame of justice, burning fiercely within the human world, rather than a star-destroying storm. Ghost Rider once confronted Hulk head-on during the moment when the green monster unleashed his vengeful rage against all of humanity. The presence of Johnny Blaze within restrained the spirit of vengeance, preventing the demon from crossing the final boundary and crushing Hulk. Had Johnny let go, the infernal fury might have turned the battlefield into irredeemable ashes. Johnny recovered the final fragment and completed the ritual to send Lucifer back to hell, closing a chapter soaked in fire and blood. In terms of raw power, Ghost Rider has demonstrated mountain-level destructive capability by destroying a mountain in the Himalayas. More frightening still, many of his attacks do not adhere to the laws of physical durability. He once single-handedly defeated the entire Avengers roster, a feat that left Doctor Strange in shock. The Sorcerer Supreme believed that if the spirit of vengeance were fully unleashed, Ghost Rider could even defeat World War Hulk. When Johnny Blaze lost control, that fear became very real. Ghost Rider has been portrayed as one of the most terrifying entities, fully capable of confronting cosmic scale figures such as Nova, Thanos, Sentry, Silver Surfer, or Captain Marvel. At one point, Ghost Rider not only defeated but directly killed Thanos, a feat that sent shockwaves across the universe. Ghost Rider's resilience nearly surpasses all limits, powerful enough to overpower Hulk, dominate Doctor Strange, subdue Scarlet Witch, and even stand toe-to-toe with Thor without any ally. More notably, Ghost Rider has even been described as the victor in a confrontation with Superman. Before the hellfire and the punishment of the spirit of vengeance, Ghost Rider is not merely a warrior, but the manifested nightmare of justice, where even the greatest symbols can fall. His power has even been shown to be nearly equal to that of Mephisto, and in a rare moment when he was unchained, Ghost Rider once defeated Mephisto himself. In that moment, he was no longer the rider of Earth, but an ancient wrath powerful enough to make hell itself tremble. I truly hope you will subscribe to the channel, as it would help us tremendously, and you are the greatest. Thank you very much. Now let us talk about Thanos. Born to Mentor and Sui San of the Eternals, Thanos carried the deviant gene from the moment of his birth. This mutation made him an outcast among the Titans, a true aberration. His rough purple skin, almost beast-like in appearance, was not merely a physical trait, but a reflection of strength and physical capability far beyond his kind. This mutation also amplified his eternal blood, pushing Thanos' potential to a level no other Titan could ever reach. As the strongest and most powerful Eternal of Titan, Thanos possesses a massive physique and the ability to self-generate cosmic energy to serve his own purposes. He continued to perfect himself through extreme methods, ranging from biological augmentation and mystical enhancement to resurrection by death herself. All of this combined to create an entity in which power, ambition, and authority became one, ready to devour the universe if necessary. Thanos is a name that makes the universe whisper in fear. This mad giant is not only infamous for his ambition, but also for his nearly limitless strength. He is often regarded as an embodiment of death, an entity aligned with the order and structure of the cosmos. The existence of Thanos is not an accident, but rather an inevitable part of the vast cosmic design, where destruction and balance always walk hand in hand. Physically, Thanos stands at the absolute pinnacle. His strength is sufficient to lift masses exceeding 100 tons without effort. His punches are not merely attacks, but catastrophes, capable of tearing apart planetary surfaces and shaking the very space around them. Thanos' durability is equally terrifying, allowing him to withstand blows that would crush other heroes in an instant. Beyond sheer strength, Thanos can move across the stars with minimal effort, as if cosmic distance itself is little more than a vague concept to him. Through this overwhelming power, he has repeatedly challenged and defeated some of the most formidable entities ever to exist. Before Thanos, combat ceases to be a contest and becomes a test of survival, where a single mistake is enough to doom entire worlds. Thanos' power is ranked among the supreme. Yet, this is still not his ultimate limit. The true extent of his strength remains an enigma, as it has been enhanced by death beyond its original foundation, elevating him above even the strongest Eternals to have ever existed. Thanos has repeatedly proven his overwhelming dominance. He can confront Thor directly, even when the God of Thunder wields the Power Stone, long considered the symbol of pure strength. Before Thanos, even legendary figures such as Silver Surfer have been brought to their knees. Hulk in his raging fury was struck aside like a mere obstacle, while Beta Ray Bill and Ronan the Accuser fell swiftly, with Ronan's cosmic weapon being destroyed with ease. Even more terrifying, Ego the Living Planet, a being embodying an entire world, once attempted to overpower Thanos through raw physical force and failed completely. Ego's panic revealed that he had faced something far beyond his control. Annihilus, renowned for his extraordinary might, was also quickly overwhelmed by Thanos. In those moments, Thanos was not merely a powerful warrior, but a symbol of absolute domination, where strength itself becomes an inescapable destiny. Thanos is also capable of pushing that power to unprecedented levels. He draws upon his own cosmic energy, a colossal and nearly infinite divine force, to amplify his physicality to the point where reality itself must yield. Each time Thanos releases this energy, he becomes like a surging cosmic wave, crushing everything in his path. Only when facing enemies empowered by the Power Stone does Thanos truly reveal the full extent of his terrifying strength and resilience. The Power Stone is not simply an energy source, but a gateway to all power that has ever existed and will exist in the future. It also has the ability to support the other stones, amplifying their effects and elevating its wielder to a level that is nearly untouchable. At the most fundamental level, this stone grants limitless durability and allows strength to be amplified to a point with no clearly defined ceiling, depending on how much of its potential the wielder dares to draw upon. Thanos did not merely confront an enhanced warrior, but a maddened and bloodthirsty Thor, one who had fused his divine might with the absolute power of the Power Stone. Beyond that, Thanos also encountered Trichos Latius, the champion of the universe, a being who possessed extraordinary physical power with limits that were nearly impossible to define. Trico had devoted all of his primal power to the development of his physical form, and when he held the Power Stone, that capability was elevated to an even higher level many times over. In these battles, Thanos not only survived, but stood firm against waves of infinite power, affirming his status as a true dominator. Thanos further proved endurance beyond all limits when he survived the colossal energy released by the snap of the Infinity Gauntlet. It was a moment when the power of all 6 stones erupted simultaneously, enough to bend reality and tear the universe apart. At his peak, Thanos was the embodiment of pure terror. He did not flinch before the power of Odin, the All-Father of Asgard, a god who once commanded fear throughout the universe. Thanos received those divine blows as if they were merely a trial, his cold gaze never wavering. He even engaged in a psychic confrontation with Galactus, the colossal cosmic entity that devours planets as if they were breakfast. Being able to face Galactus and maintain equilibrium placed Thanos among the ranks of the supreme entities. In those moments, he was no longer merely a titan, but a symbol of an unbreakable willpower, endurance, and an iron spirit became one, transforming Thanos into a living nightmare, one before whom even gods and planet destroyers must tread carefully. Thanos, without any power amplification, has defeated all of the Avengers, Silver Surfer, Black Bolt, and has even given Odin and Galactus serious trouble. Ghost Rider has defeated demons 666 times, killed Doctor Strange, possibly in the future, defeated an archangel wielding the power of heaven, and was not harmed by World War Hulk. There is nothing in Thanos' arsenal that can truly harm Ghost Rider. He is magically invulnerable to all forms of physical and energy-based attacks, and much like Juggernaut and Jack Harkness in Doctor Who, thanks to his powerful demonic form, he is a fixed point in space and time, and therefore cannot be affected by reality or matter manipulation. In addition, while in this form, his consciousness is protected and he is completely immune to psychic attacks. Battlefield removal through teleportation is not an option. as Ghost Rider possesses super speed and can travel through dimensions at will. He can be affected by magic, but it must be at a far higher level than anything Thanos typically commands to have any effect. To Ghost Rider, Thanos is like the holy grail of sinners. Galactus may have taken more lives over millennia, but he acts out of necessity, whereas Thanos deliberately slaughtered millions in a mad attempt to impress death. No matter how powerful he is, I do not believe Ghost Rider can easily stop Thanos. His force field is among the strongest in the galaxy and can withstand blows from Silver Surfer and Mjolnir without damage. Even Galactus has praised its strength. Technically, the upper limit of Ghost Rider's power is infinite and his attacks are magical, but Mjolnir is as well and it cannot be dented. And if caught with his shields down, Thanos can endure point-blank screams from Black Bolt with only minor bleeding. Ghost Rider's signature techniques are all capable of harming Thanos, but their actual effectiveness is a far more complex matter. The fact that Thanos has been resurrected by Death herself indicates that he possesses a soul, but it is unlikely to be a fragile one like that of mortals. Because of this, hellfire may not burn him in the way it typically punishes other beings. That fire was born to judge sin, and Thanos exists beyond conventional boundaries of morality and emotion. The Penance Stare becomes even more uncertain. If Ghost Rider forces Thanos to relive the pain of the millions of lives he has erased, it may not be punishment, but affirmation. Thanos feels no regret and no fear, and those horrific memories would only reinforce his belief that the path he chose was justified. To him, it could even be the most defining moment of his existence, proof of the mission he imposed upon himself. With sufficient preparation, Thanos would find a way to defeat the Ghost Rider. He is a genius tactician and would carefully study before deliberately confronting him. All Ghost Riders can be destroyed by a weapon forged in heaven. While I do not think Thanos is a devout Christian, he would certainly take the time necessary to acquire a divine weapon he could use to kill Ghost Rider. Furthermore, with the Infinity Gauntlet, or the Heart of the Universe, Thanos is nearly omnipotent and could completely destroy Zarathos or banish him back to hell. Therefore, both are extremely powerful and ruthless entities, but without power amplification, I believe this would be a draw. Or, Zarathos might hold a slight edge. I hope you enjoyed this battle. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Follow me if you enjoyed it. That is today's video. Thank you very much.